Last time on Square Roots, Taven travels across the West Coast Valley to meet Grouse, a whimsical old man with an even older secret. Mia faces an important decision, and FutureBot 2000 predicts the advent of the iPhone. Will our heroes get jobs before the Empire closes the gates? Or will everything be Wozniak?
Hello and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Matthew Van Zant, and I'm joined, as always, by your favorite co-host, Jonathan Johnny Boy Brandon.
One of those was accurate.
And for our special guest for the Dragon Quest V series, Stan Ferguson.
Hello. It's a pleasure to meet all of you.
Hello, Staniel.
Hello.
Square Roots is a classic RPG podcast where we play a classic RPG one chunker at a time and then come back and talk to you, our audience, about it. This is our second episode covering the classic RPG Dragon Quest V. How are we doing with Dragon Quest V so far, guys? Quick show of hands for the listening audience. Do you love it? Ooh, I got hands in the air.
I do love it. I do honestly think it's really great. This chunker was way too long, but that is my fault. It's hard to tell from the walkthrough what's going to be a long chunker and what's going to be a short chunker.
It sucks because last episode was a really long episode, and it sounds like this one will be too.
Well, not a lot of plot stuff happens, though.
Well, that's good.
There's a lot of stuff that happens, though.
That is true.
Yeah, that's been my experience with the game in general. It's just a lot of stuff happens. It's not all that different from Rogue Galaxy, to be honest. You're just kind of wandering around from town to town with little mini stories happening.
You're like a highway to heaven or a Littlest Hobo.
Well, I think in this particular chunker, it was more plot-oriented than the last one. It was all part of the same story rather than four different episodes.
Yeah, that's true for sure. I mean, last week we ended up getting kidnapped after our father was murdered. Speaking of, there was a pretty big plot point there. Our father imparted some last words to us, and we did not discuss that at all. So let's not forget to start off with that instead of diving right into the when we dive into the Adventure Chronicle, instead of diving right into the next part. But before we do that, we do have a fancy segment that we like to do first, and that's the one where we, your Square Roots hosts, level up. Johnny.
Hello.
Why don't you go first today? Why don't you regale us?
All right. Well, unfortunately, I didn't really do anything.
Yeah, me too.
I worked a lot this week, and the show that I'm working on just finished, so that's great. So things are going to get easier. I mean, I'm working on other shows too, but one of the big shows I'm working on finished, and I'm happy. Yay!
Did you buy yourself anything nice?
No. I kind of want to get Smash Brothers because that just came out, and I like Smash Brothers, but I also don't really have any friends that play Smash Brothers that I would be able to play with regularly.
See,
Well,
I
Johnny,
just stopped that sentence said, I don't have any friends.
Yeah, I've been thinking about buying it as well, and I'm more likely to not buy it just because spending $60 on a game kind of makes my stomach turn. Particularly on a fighting game that I know that I'll play for like 2 weeks and then never play again.
And it's
That's life on the Switch, dude.
But the kids might like it, so I can kind of use that as an excuse.
And it's one of those things where in Canada and the US, wages are pretty similar numerically, but the whole currency is out of whack right now. So it would be almost $90 for me to buy that game.
Good God.
And, you know, I make a
way
pretty
too much.
equivalent salary to you guys. So I don't know about you, Stan, but to Matt and I make a pretty equivalent amount of money without taking currency conversion into it. So it's like, yeah, $90 is too much. Can't do it. So
that was a cool level up.
I didn't play anything. I watched more Cheers. There was an episode about gay men, which was interesting.
How was that? Was it as fun as the Seinfeld episode that we discussed? Wasn't there another one? I swear to God, we're going through. It's part of our Level Up series. We're going through all the old sitcoms and discussing their
last time I think we
quote,
talked
gay
about
episodes.
the not that there's anything wrong with it episode, but there's
Yes.
also the Elaine dates a gay guy episode.
Oh yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, and this is the one where Sam Malone's best friend is having a book release party at Sam's bar. The book is called Behind the Catcher's Mask or something, which is a double entendre for Sam's best friend turns out to be gay, and he gave him the book like 2 weeks before, hoping he'd read it before the whole event, but Sam skipped it.
Sam doesn't read.
Ooh.
And Diane was reading it in the back room while everything was happening, like speed reading it. And so basically what happens is, because he's relatively accepting of his friend after Diane pressures him to be not a turd, the customers are worried that people will turn this bar into a gay bar, like what happened to some other bars. And then they see some men who they assume are gay and try to get them kicked out of the bar.
Comfortable.
Yeah, that's it's Norm and Cliffy organizing that.
Yeah. And they are being assholes at that moment.
Yeah, they are the bad guys in the episode,
Yeah.
for sure. It is mostly Diane's kind of teasing them because she knows two people in the bar are gay. But then it turns out it wasn't the guys they thought it was. And the guys who were gay kiss Norm on each cheek and do this like really feminine like hand against their cheek thing. And it was like, oh, okay. I mean,
What year do you
Wait, are
think
you
this is
telling me
from?
you don't do that?
85,
That's fun.
That was 85?
maybe.
I thought that was like 82 or 83.
Oh, maybe.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
so it's
first or
pretty.
second season?
It's super progressive. You gotta put things in their context of when this was.
I know. Yeah, it's like that. There's nothing wrong with that episode. It's super progressive for the time.
Yeah.
For the time.
Yeah.
It's still really awkward how you're supposed to really laugh uproariously at all of the super homophobic comments, particularly from the parents, and you're just supposed to be like, haha, they hate gays, no big deal. Whereas in 2018, it's like, my parents hate gays, what's wrong with them?
There's also
I should harass them about it.
a cameo by Tip O'Neill that I think was supposed to be a lot of laughs, but I figured out through context clues who Tip O'Neill was, but that took me a while.
Yeah,
I'm not getting it.
They do that a lot with some Boston area politicians in there as well.
Yeah, he's a Boston
or there'll
area
be like,
rep
there'll
congressman.
be Boston Celtics players who show
Celtics.
up who mean
Isn't it?
nothing to you.
Yeah, it is the Celtics. What the fuck, Stan?
Celtics.
All right, but that's I'm sorry I didn't get to do much. Remember we got that other letter a few weeks ago that was like, how do you guys play games and go out and have friends? We don't.
Yeah, I do a lot of my social time at my own house.
All right. I wanted to go on a date last night, but my date canceled on me. So
Oh, sorry, buddy.
It's okay. I ended up taking like 10 hours to do this chunker of Dragon Quest. Whoops.
Yeah, it was much bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Stan, how did you level up?
Okay, mine's going to be real quick because I didn't do shit either.
Oh, boy.
I, on Monday, bought some headphones so that I could walk after work.
Nice.
I bought the headphones. I never walked after work. It is very cold outside, and I don't have a coat. So that's how I leveled up.
Well, congrats on the new headphones, and I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
to hear that you do not own a coat.
Life's rough.
Wow. You should probably get a coat. That should be your next level up.
You know, I would only need it for the walk, because it's a short walk from my car to the building or to my apartment, and those are always warm.
I'm right there with you, Stan. I live in Florida. I need a coat maybe 2 weeks out of the year, so I don't own one. I just wear an extra sweater.
Ooh, that's a good idea too.
I get coats from production companies after I've worked on their production. And that is literally the only winter coats I have.
Wow.
He's got a closet full of coats from old shows that have been canceled.
Exactly.
So, Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Did you level up?
Well, I did level up. I also don't have much of a social life right now. I'm still getting over this cold. It really tried to come back and kick my butt again, but I fought it off. So that's my real level up. I leveled up fighting off illness. I have been binge watching Scrubs, and I finished it. That's the best show ever, maybe. That's not really true, but God, I love it. And I binge it like once every few years, and it's always just leaves me in such a good place. It's such a good show. And the series finale at the end of season 8, when it really ends, because there's an extra season that only features a small part of the cast and blah, blah, blah. But God, it just devastates me every time. Like, I had it and I saved it. Like, I knew. I had like 3 episodes left. I was like, I know what's going to happen when I watch these last few episodes. I am going to cry like one of my children. I'm going to fall to pieces. I'm going to be fucking sobbing. There's going to be snot running down my face. I saved it up. And one night when it was really late, I turned it on and watched it, and it predictably destroyed me. But Scrubs! Watch Scrubs, everybody. If you've never watched Scrubs, watch Scrubs. If you have watched Scrubs, watch Scrubs again. It's on Hulu. It's great.
Watch Scrubs and cry.
Watch Scrubs and cry. That show makes me cry a lot. It's not even like the last episode. Like, I think a friend of mine also is a big fan and does the same thing I do and watches it once every few years. And I was texting him about it and saying, like, I think it's like 12 episodes into season 1 is when they start doing tearjerker episodes. And it's seriously like, knock it off, Scrubs. It's not, you don't need to do this to me every time. Oh, his patient's gonna die. I watched the movie Incredibles 2. I don't have a lot to say about it other than it was pretty good, but not as amazing as I was led to believe it was going to be by disgraced former co-host Jim Banks. So this is a big middle finger to Jim. It was good, just not, I didn't connect with everything that was going on the way a lot of people seem to. And I found Mr. Incredible's story, particularly at the beginning of the movie, to be pretty obnoxious. And he never really gets proven wrong or learns a lesson about what a sexist jerky is.
Yeah.
Or how needing to be like the number one in the family isn't necessarily a good thing. None of that ever comes back around. That's just his shitty attitude at the beginning of the movie, and then the rest of the movie happens, and the end.
Yep. It's weird. The rest of the movie happens independent of all of that stuff that you just watched, and it's super boring.
The action scenes are well done, and there are some really great comedy sequences, particularly with the baby. There's a great scene where the baby goes to the costume designer crazy lady's house, and it's Edna, I believe is her name, and it's delightful. And the main character of the movie is Elastigirl, who is the best character in the movie, I think. The kids are pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you figure out that the real bad guy was Evelyn Dever?
I didn't pick up on her name, but Jesus Christ. I knew it was very clearly going to be one of the two of them, which was kind of a bummer because that's exactly what happened in the first one. So it was just the same plot again, basically. Yeah, now that I'm really thinking about it, not great. And final quick level up, I thought that it would be fun to throw this out there because I thought maybe Johnny would want to argue with me. Valkyria Chronicles is pretty fucking lame.
Ooh.
Wow. Which one did you get?
I downloaded the demo for Valkyria Chronicles 4 because it's on sale for $30, and I was like, maybe I'll buy it if I like it, the demo. And I've played the first 2 combat missions, and not for me, I think. I think there's a kernel there. I like the combat. I like the strategic sections of it. It's neat. It's a really, really interesting strategy game. Different than I think anything else I've played.
The first one plays just like that, but has a bit more of an engaging story.
I can tell up front that I hate this plot and these characters, and I mean that's probably not fair, but like it's all so fucking cliche, and this weird fantasy Europe World War II thing is weird.
Yeah.
And I don't think I have it in me. I really wanted to buy Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's $20 on Amazon, or it was. It's $25 on the Xbox store, but it's still $60 on the PlayStation store, which is what I want it for.
Oh.
Why you gotta
Matt,
fuck
your
with
life
me?
is Dragon Ball.
I don't know.
What the fuck, man?
Hey, Matthew.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the announcements for the Game Awards or anything?
Yeah. I thought there were a lot of really great announcements. I mean, obviously, I think the three of us would have to be the most excited about Persona 5 Joker in Smash, right?
I'm most excited about The Outer Worlds. Looks genuinely cool. Like, that is the first game I've seen in a while that I'm like, I will buy that when it comes out. It looks great.
Nice. I didn't watch the trailer. I'll be more interested when it gets closer. You know, I'm not a big fan of the kind of retro throwbacky setting of like the 50s and stuff.
Right.
And it kind of has that same feel like BioShock and the Fallout games and so many other ones that I just don't care for that aesthetic. So for so many people get that aesthetic and are like, yeah, this is amazing. And I turn it on and I'm immediately like, no, thank you. To me, it's what I imagine most people feel like about, you know, like steampunk.
Yeah, I think I feel about Art Deco, that style. Like
Yes.
some people, like fans of steampunk, love steampunk. I really love the Art Deco aesthetic.
Really?
So I'm all in on stuff like that.
I totally get being all in on a weird aesthetic that not everybody is all in on, so I don't want to criticize, but it's not for me, and there have been so many games in that aesthetic. Ugh.
I'd like to congratulate Sonic Fox for both winning Trending Gamer of the Year, whatever they're calling it now, and also being pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I normally am not. I generally think liking something because it pisses other people off is a crappy way to live. But this might be the one case where the people's angry reactions to everything about him is kind of funny.
Yeah. But you know what? It's like they're angry at him because he's happy. And that's the stupidest reason to be angry at anyone.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next segment, I forgot that we had that suggestion about what the save facility was called in the first game.
Oh, yeah.
I do have that now from Andrew Wayant. Well, hold on. Hang on. 1 second.
Confessional or the Adventure Chronicles, I think.
The Imperial Scrolls of Honor.
Oh, no.
What they called
That's
it
not-
last time.
That's not a thing.
And I put a vote to see if people liked the Confessional better than the Adventure Chronicle.
Adventure Chronicle.
People do like the Confessional better than the Adventure Chronicle, but Andrew Wayand is very insistent we should be calling it the Imperial Scrolls of Honor.
Well, that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our next segment, The Confessional.
Oh, I like that. It sounds so sexy. A little hard R square roots again.
We kind of ended off on like a black screen, everything's gone terrible. And before we dive into what happens next, let's talk about this. Your father gets murdified, and he tells you some stuff before he goes. What does he tell you, John?
He says, "Oh, by the way, your mom's not dead."
What a thing to say.
Well, I mean, if you're dying, you've only got so much time. Like, there's very important information that you have to impart. That's one of the things. Like, by the way.
Yeah. And he could have left, I guess, a little bit more information than that. You know, he could have said, "Oh, and I left the sword inside of a cave at our hometown, and maybe I should have put more stuff on the note that I left you there." But he didn't. He's very bad at, giving any kind of information.
Yeah. He's very good at maintaining a mustache, bad at communication.
Yes.
He probably could have told you some of this. Or left more than like half a post-it note.
Yeah. It's pretty depressing. He's not a good father.
Like Harry leaves you
that's not nice.
10-page note on a chest.
Yeah.
I don't think he expected to die in this shitty little rundown cave. I mean, he was a pretty tough dude. I think he's a king. I mean, let's face it. I don't think he expected to die.
He was a king, yeah, until he got dethroned.
He must have expected to die because he left you a note with the expectation that he was going to die.
That's fair. It's true.
Yeah, you're right. He does. Well, he knew he might get killed because there are forces of evil after him.
Well, considering this important information, obviously what we're going to do next is get kidnapped and sold into slavery. So we fade to black and we come back to our tale what do you think, 10 years later?
Exactly.
Yep. 10 years later. So you went from, I think, 6 to 16? 8 to 18?
6 to 16, I think.
That's 6 to... Bleh. I can't talk.
Oh, no.
And you are a slave.
In a facility that seems to be hauling rocks mostly to build it's built on the ruins of an old shrine where they're going to build a new shrine to Zugzwang / Nibbits or whatever. What was his name? Latka?
Latkes?
Lodja.
You talking about
Lodja,
tato cakes?
Yeah, delicious.
You talking about tater
tater
cakes? I
Bishop
want some tater cakes right now.
Lodja.
Happy Hanukkah.
Lodja?
Lodja?
You guys getting ready for
particularly-
Christmas? I bought my tree today, hung up my wreath.
You know what's particularly insulting about this slavery is that you are being commanded by clowns with jump ropes.
It's true. Which they are whipping you with.
Yeah. And it looks like they have really big noses, too. Like round.
Dude.
What are these enemies called? They're monster tamers, right?
What? These enemies?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
I know you kick their butts real fast.
Yeah.
So
Do they summon?
let's
I don't
get
remember.
there.
Do they summon other monsters?
These
not
guys? Not that I remember.
well,
you only fight
you don't
them
fight
once.
them for a bit.
Yeah. Like, you start off and you're just walking around this little quarry, and eventually you run into Harry at the top of this little temple that you're building, and he reminds you that you're looking for your mom.
Yeah. Harry has somehow stuck with you this whole time, and it seems to have turned into less of a douchebag. So that's exciting. Turns out 10 years of slavery would make you a better person. Ooh, we're getting into some bad territory. I'm gonna take a step back.
He explicitly states later that it wasn't the slavery; it was it was his father's actions.
Yeah.
That made him a better person.
Seeing
Pancrats
Pancrats get killed instead of him.
Yeah, and you also get some rumors that all the slaves are going to be freed as soon as the temple is complete, and
That seems like the type of thing that people that are going to murder all their slaves would say.
Oh, they wouldn't do that. and then you also find out that there's another soldier in there who's upset because his sister has been made a slave, but he's still working, you know.
But the thing is, I don't know if you've
ethic.
noticed, you're not actually doing any slave work at this point. You never actually have
No,
to
you ain't
move any
doing
rocks. You just talk
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah, there's old people pushing rocks, and you're just walking around chatting.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that. So we really are just slacking off here and letting everybody else die for us, basically.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got to be strong and tough. It's sort of insinuated that you've tried to escape many times now, and that it has not worked previously.
Yeah, you're not good at it.
No.
And after you talk to Harry, you end up going back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And he wakes you up. Because Harry's Harry has become really responsible lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. In fact, that's when he tells you specifically that it was I'm quoting him now. It was your father's death that made me change my tune and become more serious and
Jesus.
submissive.
Does he really say that?
Yeah.
That's word for word. His dad made him feel more submissive. That's awesome.
Oh no.
And you go back to work walking around doing nothing until you go back downstairs and you find one of the slave girls is being whipped.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's
that's
apparently their idea on how to solve a problem like Maria is a lot of whipping.
Yes, her name is Maria.
Yes.
And it's kind of uncomfortable. I mean, people are just sitting there watching these two guys who, and I'm not joking, they look like, oh, wow, when you actually get into a fight with them, they're fat clowns with jump ropes. I think those are supposed to be whips.
Yeah.
But they are literally holding them like jump ropes. And you kick their asses. And it's not even you. Again, it's Harry. Harry is the one who goes to save Maria while you just stand there.
It's true. And then
eventually,
but his courage inspires you. I kind of like that actually. His courage inspires you. Well, you have to fight the other one, and this time you do it.
Yeah. And you kick their asses because they're like they ain't no thing. And Maria thanks you. And from there, you get put into jail for insubordination.
Yeah,
However,
you can wander around ahead of time and find this jail cell. So I was kind of hoping, like, maybe I could go in and pick the lock ahead of time, or like stash myself a key.
Nope.
As soon as I saw the jail cell, I was like, all right, so we're gonna get put in jail.
Mm-hmm. What do you think this is? The Elder Scrolls?
And there's one of them muscle men's with the pig helmets chained to the wall, who you never actually end up helping.
No, I felt bad. I tried to help him before I got into the barrel. But speaking of the barrel,
yeah,
when you're in jail, you get freed by a guy named Joshua, the one you spoke to earlier, who is Maria's brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to rescue you guys because you helped my sister, and I'm going to shove you all in this barrel that also happens to have all your shit.
Yay!
Yeah. He tells you that these slaves are all going to get murdified when the temple is finished. It's the second time I've used murdified this episode. What's that about? I don't even
That's
fucking
how
know.
serious it is.
I guess so. So, and then he stuffs you into a barrel and you float away into the river. So not only do you not help the pig man, in fact, you leave all of these slaves to be straight murdered.
Maybe we'll come back.
I tried to rescue them. I did, but he wouldn't let me leave the room.
You know, at least people give Short Round a lot of crap. He and Indiana Jones freed all the slaves.
Yeah, they did.
Under Pancot Palace.
I don't remember that movie well enough to agree or disagree. It sounds like it could be true, but John's known as a trickster. He could be making this up.
It's true.
No, I saw it a year ago or so. He's right.
We've had some hot Star Wars takes. Here's my hot Indiana Jones take. That's still my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I love that movie. I understand it has its problems. Like, I watched that movie with a lady named Sweta once, who is from India. And she said, this movie confused me as a kid because I thought they were talking about a different India because this had nothing to, we don't, like they sort of referenced the Thuggee, but that's not what the Thuggee were all about. And she never ate monkey brains and all that.
I didn't realize it was set in India.
It is.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I want to say I've seen the other two a million times, but that one I haven't seen as much. I wonder why. I mean, it scared me a bit as a kid.
It scared me a lot as a kid. All those bugs. Ooh.
The bugs, the heart.
The heart's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I was like, this is pretty rad.
Yeah. The movie takes a dip. Like, if you're just watching it for straight entertainment purposes, it takes a dip in the right after the beginning and until he actually gets to the Temple of Doom. Mm-hmm. It slows down big time. The big, set piece is the gross dinner scene. And that's not fun or interesting. It's just gross.
Yeah, and racist.
Not that we realize,
or
that
at least according to my Indian friend, very confusing.
Yeah. So you end up waking up at a cloister, and the person who speaks to you is one of the nuns who worship the above. Mm-hmm. She is a nun of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, this dumb game. Why you gotta do me like this, game?
Isn't this the above it all alley or Abbey?
Abbey? No, it's not. No, that's the above it all tower.
Oh, right.
Yes. The Abbey itself. I have to refer to the notes here. A heavens above.
Right.
Abby.
Yeah. And so there is Ali the above. I think isn't that one of them's got some terrible joke name like that too.
Yeah, I think it's the
Mother
head
Superior.
nun. Yeah.
Yeah. Not enough
And-
references to The Sound of Music though.
No. Which would be any.
Oh wait, I was joking about how to solve a problem like Maria. And that they do solve it, but it's sort of like a reverse. Oh no, actually no. This is the total Sound of Music path, because as we all know, Sound of Music opens with Maria about to be executed, and then move to the nunnery through a barrel.
I definitely have not seen that movie since I was
It does not open that way.
7. I have fucking no idea.
I genuinely love that film too.
I've never seen it.
It's good.
Shockingly.
It's
I've
you like
shockingly
musicals.
not seen
It's
it.
got some pretty good numbers.
Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of musicals. That just happens to be one I've not seen.
And it is gorgeous. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Speaking of Maria, you get to attend her ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess she's becoming a nun?
Yeah, it's a habit she wants to pick up.
Oh, Jesus. John, why you got to do this to me? Is it because Matt stepped out to get a drink?
Yep. You might say that is confirmed.
You must be loving this game.
Well, I can't think of any others, so sorry.
So that is the ceremony is a thing that happens. She seems to show some interest in Harry. Harry definitely shows some interest in her. And then you guys leave.
She does have pixel cleavage.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
She has like one slightly darker pixel in the middle of her chest. Va va boom. My episode art for this episode should just be like a 9x9 examination of that digital pixel cleavage.
Wow. Well, speaking of sexy,
Yeah.
that's when we head to Fortuna. And
Is it?
surprisingly, this is not a seaside or a harbor town where they do fishing. It is a city with a casino.
Yay!
Woo! We're in the Las Vegas of this world.
There are
This
so
place has
many
a
mini games here. Too.
Yeah, I mean, there's like in the casino itself, and then there's a fortune teller, a monster hunter, and a secret shop that only opens at night.
I forgot to
It's-
research whether or not this monster hunting stuff was part of the game back in the 90s or it was a new addition. I think it must have been back
to be, because
Yeah.
if you didn't, you'd be walking around this game by yourself most of the time.
I got so nervous about having these extra party members. I think I would just send them all to Monty every time I got them.
Well,
Because I just didn't want to have any extra party members in because I was like, oh, I'm going to have to level them up. Like, I was really...
but they level with you,
Well, I
even
was...
when they're not fighting.
As long as they're on the wagon, yes. So
Yeah.
basically one of the things you have to do in Fortuna is go to Monty the Monster Hunter's house and buy a wagon from him so that you can have and recruit monsters. And you have to be higher level than they are and then defeat them for them. And sometimes they'll offer to join your party.
Yes.
And this does give you the
And-
context that you never really kill monsters. You just injure them.
Yeah, you just beat them up until they stop attacking you.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
And on top of that, it's not like you Batman beat them up where you break their spines and arms, because if you just beat them up until they submit and then they can join you and they're at full health, then you beat them up in such a way that it didn't even permanently disfigure or injure them in
That's
any
nice.
way. Yeah. And you do that with a sword, a whip, a
Yep.
boomerang that's edged.
Yeah.
I mean, these are some lethal weapons, and you wield them in such a way that that you don't kill anything.
We're like
It's
the Ninja Turtles in the movies where they don't use their weapons.
Or like Rurouni Kenshin, who only uses the dull side of his sword after he gave up his samurai lifestyle of slaughtering everyone.
Right.
But Matt would know.
So-
Matt would know more about that.
If this was in the original 90s version, this was definitely Pokemon pre-Pokemon, because I think pretty much every random encounter can be recruited.
Yes,
And
it is
that's-
very Pokemonish.
It took me a while. Stan had to help me figure out why I couldn't change characters when I was in towns or dungeons. It's because you can't change characters when you're in towns or dungeons. And it's a little buried. You have to go to the lineup to move those around. But
yeah,
I
it
love
does. The whole menu is kind of 3 menus deep. It's a little unfortunate.
the
Oh my God,
whole
renaming your
names of
monsters
all the
is-
monsters you get is amazing. I love Vlad, the little Draki, and they're all the names make like Champ.
I
mushroom.
haven't gotten him. I've got the mushroom. His name's like, what's his name?
Champ.
Champ? I don't have a champ.
Oh,
One of the Hammer guys, and his name is like Hammer Bro or something. It's
mine's
funny.
Wacko. Wacka.
Wacko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
Champ
I guess
is
we get the same
champignon
ones,
is mushroom in French.
Have you tried renaming them?
No, can you?
You can rename them by taking it to the Monster Hunter. And here's what you have to do because it's super annoying. All right. You have to give him the monster.
Mm-hmm.
Then you rename the monster.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to take back the monster.
You know what's worse than that there, Stan, my friend?
What's that?
When you
Every
are
menu in Rogue Galaxy. Ba-dum-bum.
when you are trying to find a flower later and get killed by a random encounter that spawns these goblins I can't kill, and you can't run away from it, and so it kills everyone in your party, and then you have to resurrect them one by one with a 1 minute
that's
musical
fun.
sting. What the hell, game?
Yeah, that's kind of like what this is like. Because it's not just you give it, you rename it, and you take it back. Because you have to reset the menu each time. So you give it, go back, rename it, go back.
Is there a musical sting every time you get them in your party?
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
those
Probably
like,
a musical sting in between every sub menu.
I should probably tell the game, hey, I think the music in this game is terrible, and I've turned it off. Because I think the music in this game is terrible, and I've turned it off.
That's crazy. It's not terrible.
It's really
I mean,
bad.
What?
I wouldn't call it bad. I just call it there.
I
No,
don't
wait till
like
you
it.
have like 5 or 6 monsters in your wagon, and 3 or 4 of them level up at the same time.
Well, this was me and 7 monsters total in my party. I had to resurrect 7 monsters, so it literally took me 10 minutes.
How did it let you have 7 people in your party?
Not in your party, but in your wagon. And if your first party gets wiped
That's
out,
right.
all the monsters from your wagon come out.
So, what do you guys think about Pokemon in Dragon Quest? And why did we pick, for the first Dragon Quest we were going to play, why did we pick the Pokemon?
I really love it.
This was a mistake.
I guess this means I like Pokemon because I'm having a lot of fun finding like all the. I got really excited when I got a Draki and a Slime, and I don't know. I hope I can
Still
make
haven't
them
gotten
cool.
a Draki.
Who do you have?
I like my slime knight.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Oh, I want one of those.
he's the best.
Yeah,
He's
my
got
s-
healing spells and is really good.
Yeah, he's basically you. I like my slime. I like my slime knight,
Me?
who I named Jim Banks. I like my slime, which is named Matthew.
Aw,
Yeah. I still
Does that-
haven't gotten a
Does
Vanessa
that mean
yet.
cute?
I would give if you find one of those platypunks, I would name that Vanessa if it's female.
They're genderless, but
No, they aren't. The monsters have genders.
do they?
Yes.
how do you find this
If
out?
you go to attributes and then look at your monsters, it does tell you what their gender. Not all of them. Slimes don't have gender, for instance.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
It's Pokemon. It is 100%
Wow.
Pokemon.
Well, I was going to see if I could... is Mohawk a boy or girl?
I think Mohawk's a boy, but I'd have to double check.
Well, I was going to name Mohawk Vanessa if it allowed you to change their name.
Oh.
This predated Pokemon by 4 years.
But did the...
Wow.
What I couldn't remember was if this
Did the card
Pokemon
game
element
exist?
was in the original or not. But I assume it was, because, yeah.
It had
Must
to be.
have been.
Yeah, the game
And
wouldn't
like I
have
said,
worked
you'd
without
be
it.
playing this game by yourself. There would be nothing. Because a good portion of the game, you don't have Harry with you
Yeah,
or Bianca.
yeah. Or any of the other party members you get in this game.
Yeah, I've got Waka, and I've got... I guess the only one that I really use a lot at this point in the game is a hula hoop.
Oh, I got one of
goblin
those.
monster.
She
Can't remember
is...
its name.
Oh, her name is
The
Alola.
Lady Gremlin?
Alola, that's right.
Yeah, it is Lady Gremlin from Gremlins 2.
Yes. She's pretty great. She's got a bunch of spells, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want one of those.
I don't get a ton, and I fight plenty, but I don't... Is there something special to pick them up, or is it always
No,
just
it's
totally random?
Yeah.
I have not picked up that
Well,
many.
you
I've
can
got
give
like
them,
5
You
total.
can throw Monster Chow, and that'll increase your chances.
Ooh.
I'm not doing that.
I've got one of those potted, or I forget what they're called, Hocus Potters or something, or the Pocus Potters, which is like the terracotta warrior thing.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I hate fighting those things. They're super annoying.
Everything in this game's super annoying.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, let's move along here.
yeah, we're back at Fortuna.
Dung-a-dung,
And we're talking
dung-a-dung.
about we went to the
Ooh,
secret
right along.
shop. We bought the wagon. Did
Casino.
you guys enjoy the casino? I mean, we'll not worry about the mini games till later. But did you enjoy watching the show at the casino?
Well, I did like that there was a Julian. Shout out to Julian Titus
Mm-hmm.
in the sort of Romeo and Juliet style play that was going on.
I didn't watch any of this. I'm just trying to get through this game. I hate stuff like this in these games. I swear to God, it's all a bunch of shitty mini games that aren't fun, and I'm not good at, and I don't want to play it. I hate casinos. Hate them in real life. Hate them in video games.
Look, this is the best written play I've ever read.
Okay.
I mean,
Do you have the
I have
text
some.
of it here? Okay, let's hear
Yeah,
it.
we've got Julian and Rometta, and we have Julian, and we have Rometta saying, "Oh, Julian, Julian, wherefore art thou, Julian? I do digest the poison of thy flesh." And then Tilbert responds, "Shall I compare thee to a winter's day? Thou art more cold and more harsh to me."
And then there's the backup singers going, tragedizing, tragedy, tragedizing.
Tragical tragedy.
They're great. There's just a lot of very silly dialogue here. Also, did you find the TNT board game?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to
That's-
save that
that's-
for.
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
save that
that's-
for later. But that's a whole...
Did anybody win? Did you
I
win?
did.
Yeah, I won.
did.
Yeah, me too. I think you win eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won my first
Yeah,
game.
we'll talk about it.
All right, and so after you've explored everything in O Fortuna, it was a lot of fun. The fortune teller says that you got some bad stuff coming your way.
Shocking. I thought this game was just going to be a breeze all the way through. And I'd find the legendary warrior. The legendary warrior would be like, "Stand back, kid," and would defeat any chance of there being any evil. And
Yeah,
that's
we're
how it
all
went.
hoping on a mystical daddy that comes along, like at the beginning of this game, and just carries you through the end of this game, right?
Oh my God! Then it would have. Wouldn't that be a better title than Hand of the Heavenly Bride? Dragon Quest V.
Mystical Daddy.
Mystic Daddy.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping for that IRL. I don't know about in this game.
Hello, John. I'm your mystical daddy.
Oh, carry me through the rest of my life.
Oh my God.
Jump into my large, burly arms.
Okay. All right. Before we get into weird role-playing sex chat here, we go northwest to the town of Wheelbrook, which is, if you remember, the town you grew up in. Except now it's all poison-pitted.
I like to imagine that John's mystical daddy is like a rich proprietor of a dragon dildo shop.
I would have figured someone who was like a cement mixer inventor.
Brad Dragon.
He like just carries around these giant bags of cement everywhere.
Well, think of that, but it's giant bags of dragon dildos.
Yeah.
Thrown over his shoulders like sacks of potatoes.
Oh. So,
in this movie that I'm writing in my head about John and his mystical daddy, it's called John and his mystical daddy. There's an accident where he's carrying his sacks of dragon dildos, and they get ripped open and spill in the street. And there's lots of like reaction shots of old women tittering and parents covering their children's eyes, and
is that
people
the meet
going,
cute? Is that how they encounter each other?
Yes, it happens during the meet cute. Shit, get my pen. This is a good one.
Oh boy, but it's MEAT.
Zeke's cute.
Oh boy. So we get to our hometown, and there's just like a couple of people left in the old item shop.
Yeah, the buildings are mostly not even standing anymore. Or at least
Yeah.
the skeletons are standing, but everything else is destroyed. The walls, the roofs.
Donde está what's his name?
Sancho.
Sancho.
Sancho's gone.
He's totally gone.
I was shocked that there wasn't a cutscene of Stan falling to his knees, going, "No! Sancho!"
You okay there, Stan?
I'll give a hug to Sancho and I'll hug him down. So
Jesus Christ, John.
So you now get to the old man is no longer blocking the cave or the entrance to the other side of the cave, but he recognizes you.
Oh,
He's like,
John, I just got it. Meat cute, right?
yeah,
There'll be a lot of plastic meat all over the ground.
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Quick on the uptick tonight.
Good job. So the old man's like, "Oh wow, you totally are Pancraz's son." And
Yeah.
the
You can tell by your chest hair.
I think there's a couple of people in the town who really don't like Pancraz because they feel like he brought the evil on the attack after he died and blame him
'cause
for
Coburn
kidnapping
Castle's
Harry.
lackeys came and destroyed it.
Yeah, they think everyone thinks he kidnapped Harry and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe this was all his plan. Maybe he's the big bad.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a whole Titus Zek situation.
So you go through the caves again, but you get like a slightly different route this time, and there's a weird, like, kind of Zelda puzzle, but it's not a very good puzzle. Of you have to step on every rock to be able to walk across this lake.
That was lame and terrible because, well, I don't want to say lame. Sorry. Cut that out of the show. That was terrible because I was playing on an iOS device. And it was very difficult to step on everything I wanted to step on.
Yeah. And but you do get some treasures here, and you finally get to Pancraz's secret porn stash lair. It doesn't have any porn. It's just like his hidey hole. where he left
Porn stash, Larry. Well, there is that treasure chest filled with porn stashes that you
Yeah,
can
that's
find.
true. There is a
Try them on. Put them on the cat. You don't have the cat yet? Put them on Harry.
Not yet.
yeah.
Yeah, put him on Harry.
There's
Harry
a
looks good with a
Zenithian
mustache.
sword and a note saying, "Hey son, if you're reading this, I'm super dead. Sorry about that. Anyway, I found this sword because I'm trying to find the 4 pieces of the Zenithian armor to kill the oncoming darkness that's coming."
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
anyway, later.
Well, I actually have the entirety of the letter.
Oh, okay. Does it say anyway later?
Is exactly right.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm going to give another dramatic reading.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Dear Stan, if you're reading this letter, it must mean I'm no longer by your side. You probably know already, but the reason I've been traveling is to search for my beloved wife, Mata, who fell into the hands of evil. My wife, your mother, had some mysterious powers. I don't really understand it, but it seems these powers are coveted by those in the dark world of Nadiria. It's my belief that she was carried off there because of her powers. Dear Stan, you must continue my search for the legendary hero. It seems that the only one who can enter Nadiria and rescue Mata from the clutches of evil is he who can make use of the Zenithian equipment, the legendary hero. I traveled all the world and managed to locate the Zenithian sword, but still, I've been unable to locate the legendary hero. Stan, my son, you must gather the remaining pieces of Zenithian equipment. Find the legendary hero and save dear Mata. I have faith in you, son. I know you can do this. He says the legendary hero 4 fucking times.
He's been around the world and he can't find his legendary hero. He don't know where, he don't know why, but he's gone away. He can't
But
find
he found the sword, so you got that.
And you're like, well,
You just
I
can't
must
use
be the legendary hero. So you pick up the sword and then the sword's like, yeah, it's really heavy and you are not the right person for it and you can't use it.
You're
What?
definitely going to turn out to be the legendary hero, though, right?
No. That would be
That
a
would
twist
be
I could
too much
see
of a
coming.
twist.
I actually do know where this goes, so I will not say one way or the other.
That's right. No
I'm gonna
spoilers.
Find you. I'm gonna get you one way or another.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next.
That's what she
I
said in
know
the
the
song.
well enough.
Next, you head off to Roundbeck, and this is, I assume, we're all looking for Bianca at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was doing.
Like, I'm looking for Bianca and my cat because I
Yeah.
know they're out there somewhere, and
Yeah.
I want more people in my party.
And I want Sancho
I'm just
back.
shoving the plot along here. Like,
yeah, you just go there to find Bianca. You find out she's not there, and the lady's like, "Why don't you stay here a couple nights?" So you stay there, and the first night Harry's like, "We got to go back to Coburn," and then you stay another night and you get a pillow.
Yeah, but the pillow's useful. It puts all the enemies to sleep.
Oh, is that what it does? I
Yeah.
haven't tried it yet.
You have a spell called Peep, and you can use it to it tells you everything that a item does. Mostly.
Oh, I definitely used Peep on that pillow and immediately forgot what it did.
You'll also notice you get a huge bonus to luck because all the nuns give you a crudely made statue of the goddess, and that increases your luck by a ton. So it helps you get some critical hits.
that's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And speaking of going back to Coburn, that's exactly what you do.
Oh,
And you
yeah, because
stop by.
I tried to go there first before I went to Roundbeck,
Oh, yeah.
and the guy at the bridge was like, "Yeah, you're not going through here."
Yeah, what's the guy's name at the bridge?
Frank Ophobe,
Yes.
Jesus.
which isn't I thought, like, is that the term for a fear of frogs?
French people.
And it is not. Oh, Frank. What? Oh, God.
Fear of French
oh,
people.
God. I get it now. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, come on. Do you get it, Nat?
I don't want to talk about this. This is...
Because it's like, but fear of frogs is rhinidophobia, idiophobia. But I get their joke now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
And speaking of his fear of frogs, that's what gets Harry to pass over the bridge with you. Harry tells him about the time he put a frog in the guy's bed, and the guy got scared, and he's like, "Oh my God, Harry, it's you!" And he lets you go.
I remember you when you were but a lad, Harry.
This is fucking terrible, y'all.
You're an asshole, Harry.
Yes, Hagrid, too, lets you pass, and you can go to Coburn, but things are weird there.
Yes. The Queen Dowager has been hiring cruel mercenaries.
And if you see them, they're just like monsters, like what you see on the map.
Yeah.
One's a skeleton.
One's a skeleton. There's like one of them slime knights, maybe.
Yeah.
I think there's some Wolfmen guys that have like armor on.
Mm-hmm.
What are they called?
Rough
The
Raiders.
Rough Raiders. Oh,
Then all you're really supposed to be doing at this point is exploring the castle, and because they won't let you go up to see the queen.
This took me a couple of tries to figure out where the hell I was supposed to go.
Yeah, I ended up going through a dungeon, and there I found the Queen Dowager locked in a cell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
to get
she's
to that
like,
dungeon, you need to go on the raft, and then the entrance to the dungeon is under the drawbridge, which it took me maybe an hour to find.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, this game does a really poor job giving you any sort of direction. I do spend a lot of time kind of wandering aimlessly.
I've looked anytime I don't know where to go, I just look it up on a fact because the encounter rate's really high, and I don't want to keep wandering.
Fortunately, most of the castle, there's no encounters, so I was just going around in places that I knew or didn't know.
I just mean in general in this game, especially the next chunker, after you've solved the castle situation, it's like, oh, well, go to this place, and you're like, I don't know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, after you encounter the Queen Dowager, you end up getting to
And she's
King
still
Wilbur.
kind of a jerk.
She is, but at least she's apologetic.
She's like, I probably shouldn't have put you guys into slavery. Feel real bad about that.
She basically admits to being responsible for your father's death, and you just kind of pass it by, like,
Yeah.
Dude, everyone in this game is super okay with everything that happened. We saw it with Bianca being buried alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we see it with Harry after 10 years of slavery. Everything it's kind of cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No big. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
They let bygones be bygones pretty fast.
All water under the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why you have to go under the bridge to find her. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Ah.
And you have to take water under this bridge.
So, yeah, you go to King Wilbur. Wilbur is
metaphor.
the natural son of the Queen Dowager, Harry's half-brother or stepbrother, half-brother.
Half-brother, yeah.
And he gets reminded of a mirror that his mom was obsessed with, and he tells you to go find it. He gives you the keys to the castle vault. That took me a while to find because I had no idea which door I had left locked.
Yeah, I thought I was trying all those jail doors and going through all those encounters down there, but no, it's a door that basically, if you take the chest way down, you can get there. Like not the chest, the stool.
Chair.
Yeah,
The secret staircase.
Stool.
Yeah, you're right there.
from Harry's room.
Yeah. And there's a book that who is it that the
Queen Dowager.
had left.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not that. It was Harry's mom had left, I think.
Was it Harry? No, I thought it was the Queen Dowager because she was looking for the mirror.
Oh, okay. She got so
Yeah.
close.
And before we go, there's a dude in this castle whose name is Darwin.
Yeah.
And he's studying evolution. All right, so a little bit more on that Pokemon thing. But there's something about this Darwin. He says at one point, it seems there was once a secret that unlocked these mysteries of evolution. Perhaps it was the hand of the goddess. Obviously, this is not our Darwin, because
No, that's like the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. He was very much a non-believer. But that's all I wanted to touch on, because I think he's going to come back in the future. Matt, you would have more knowledge on that.
Nope, not at all.
Excellent.
Maybe. Not that I've run into, but I don't pay that much attention. I'm just kind of zipping through this game.
Cool. So you find the teleportal and you go through, and there's a tower that you can't get into.
Yay.
Yeah, and you end up going north of the tower, and there's Maria's cloister.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you that you need a maiden to open that door, so they send Maria with you. Now, Maria's not in your party, so she can't fight, but she's following you.
How do you equip a companion like Maria?
Where's my gun?
I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Listeners, if you also are just left dumbfounded and kind of angry at John, please write in. Care of John.
Maria, what is it you can't face?
So you head back to the tower. I didn't, because I had no idea what to do. Also, I wanted to explore everything, and I ended up getting the full tea set.
Yay!
And when I went to the up to 10 towers and I got that tea set, I decided to explore it. There's no monsters at all.
Mm-hmm.
And at the top of the up to 10 towers are these two kids who have eloped because their families didn't like each other, and they got married and are hanging out in the tower, just banging the days away.
Oh.
And
In the up to 10 tower?
Yeah. So that was kind of neat and wonderful. But yeah, you go back to the above it all
teens
tower.
Banging is just a beautiful thing, right, Stan?
You know, I mean romance in general. I don't know that they're teens.
I mean, it's what you said, but what do I know? So anyway, off to the tower you go.
Yeah. And Maria opens the door for you.
Well, Maria, this takes about 10 minutes, because there's anytime the game wants to like play a special song for you, you are going to sit there and you are going to listen to the whole song, mister. No skipping for you. You're going to enjoy it. This was written by a classical Japanese composer who liked video games so much he became part of Enix's music crew.
Wow.
True story.
And you don't like his stuff at all.
I don't. It's garbage.
Wow, you're a monster.
Yeah.
So you head into these towers and you go up very slowly if you're playing on iOS, because you keep fucking falling.
You got bad fingers or something, Stan. It's not that fucking hard.
It is so shitty.
I gotta say about the music in this game, I don't like the samples used in this one. On Dragon Quest XI on PC sounds terrible, but I like it in symphonic arrangements and I like it in Famicom arrangements. Like those are the two that I find listenable, like, and pretty fun.
Are you playing with headphones?
No.
I am playing with headphones occasionally, and when I play on headphones, this sounds so much better than coming out of my iPhone speaker.
Yeah, it is coming out of a DS speaker, which isn't ideal. But I do find, unless it's a nicely, like the cover we have of the world map music for this series is pretty nice, and I actually really enjoy the composition there, because it's subtler, and all the instruments they've chosen for the DS version is just really grating on me. And the PC uses very similar. PC for 11 uses very similar kind of instrumentation. That is just, I just don't like hearing it.
Try giving it a shot with headphones. I think maybe you'll get a better experience.
8 had good music because 8 was for the North American release of 8. They used the symphonic tracks, so it's live orchestra. It sounds really nice.
It does sound nice. I love a live orchestra.
Yeah.
So,
So after you patiently wait through the music of her summoning this beam of light to unlock the door, it unlocks.
And struggle against the controls as you climb up.
Oh,
wait.
This one.
Before you climb up, there's a thing that you see.
Hold on. I got to scroll down because I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember what you see?
No.
You see Pankraz and Mata.
Oh, yeah. What were they doing there?
They were ghosts. They were little phantoms.
Were they, like, helping you?
No, they just stood there. At that point, I have to go to you and ask you what you remember because my character, Stan, was dead.
Oh, gosh.
When I walked up to them. And so my Harry and Maria are like, wow, there are phantoms here that I guess reflect what's in the heart of the people. I don't remember.
Yeah, that is because Maria says, "Oh, you see something? Do you? I think this it reflects what you're longing and missing in your heart."
Yeah.
So you saw your parents because you're longing for your dead parents, or maybe not dead parents.
I shouldn't have seen them at all because I was dead.
Right. And when you're dead, you're a floating casket in this game. It's kind of weird.
They drag your casket. It looks like Dracula's going to pop out at any minute.
Right. So
Nest Dracula.
There's a couple of annoying traversal puzzles here. One is you have to walk around the edge of
What is a slime?
A
vicious little pile of... I'm sorry.
a tiny little ledge around a big pit, and the other one is you have to you figure out which invisible passage to walk across to get across a bridge. And once you fall down, you have to go all the way back up the tower again.
Yeah. So that's super fun. I love doing this over and over again. Also, keep in mind that if you leave the tower and come back, you get to watch Maria open it again. So I watched that 4 times.
That's great.
I hated that tower. I hope there's nothing more like that again. Oh, wait. There are.
A lot of traversal puzzles.
Finally, once you you cross that fake bridge, you get the Mirror of Ra, and you can head back to the to Castle Coburn.
Mm-hmm. And you get like a situation like at the end of one of those Star Trek episodes where they're trying to figure out which one's the real Data.
Or which one's the real Kirk.
Oh, that too. Because you get to the throne room and the King Wilbur's there with 2 moms. A situation Matthew's thought about many times.
What?
Yeah, baby.
He got where I was going with that. And you have to figure out which one's the real one, and the answer...
And which one's your mystical mummy?
...is using your magic mirror on them, and the first one I tried was like...
a tough puzzle to solve.
You see the reflection of a lady. And the other one is using a monster, and it's a monster!
It's not just a monster, it's a lady gremlin!
Oh!
That's right.
So you get a pretty easy boss fight.
Yeah.
I did not have any issues with this one. That random encounter that kills me later around Zoomingtons was
Zoomingdale.
Way harder.
You're confusing it with another department store.
Oh,
so you murder Wilbur? Wilbur's fake mom in front of him, and he doesn't have a problem with it. He's like,
not
all right.
Harry's. Well, yeah, Wilbur's. I'm so confused right now.
Yeah.
Did they even mention what happened with Harry's dad? Did he just die?
Yeah, he died. He died a year after Harry was kidnapped.
Yeah, they alluded to the fact that he was sick and dying
Yeah.
when you first met him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you kill her. And what?
Harry bails. Harry's like, okay, cool. Well, we did what I wanted, so I guess I'm out of here. And you have fun looking for your fucking dead-ass mom.
Oh,
He's
well,
not gonna
Wilbur offers Harry to become the rightful king. And Harry's like, nah, but I'm going to leave you guys and just chill with you, Wilbur, if that's cool.
He'll be like his advisor. I thought that was a noble thing of like, well, let's continue. Let's not break up your reign and make things complicated. You can keep being
He's
king.
going to make Wilbur do all the work while he sits and...
He's going to be his right-hand man. Help his
Yeah, he
little
gets to
brother
just
out.
chill out.
Yeah. He's going to be playing video games and, just chill, sleeping. But Wilbur does something very important. Wilbur tells you that the ships can now travel again, and then Harry gives you all his shit because he doesn't want to carry it around or store it. And there's a crumpled up boat ticket in his pocket.
Incorrect.
No?
There's
Is that not what I remember?
crumpled up tombola ticket in his pocket.
Oh, a tombola. You know what? I didn't know what a tombola was until we got there. And I thought a tombola was a type of boat. So
I'm not sure I've done the tombola ticket yet. We'll have to talk about that. But speaking
That is a
of, we're
mini
never going to
game.
get to it if we don't get through this goddamn the rest of this chunker. So let's fucking do it.
Let's
Off you go on a boat. Wilbur allows ships to travel again, and you hop a boat to Lodestar Harbor. And
They say,
meet
"Oh,
Mike
no
Pence.
more boats again after this because the Briscolettis paid for this one, and it's too dangerous to travel right now because there's some kind of
because
sea
the ferry
monster."
got attacked to Little Haven.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
There's some stupid joke about meeting a scary ogre at the top of the lighthouse. And it was some dude named Ogre.
And his name is Ogar. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm not an ogre,
boy.
you jerks. There's Finding Little Haven. I had to look it up because I could not remember where Little Haven was at all.
Was that place that you passed while on the boat? And
Little Haven's the one you start out. The game starts in Little Haven, so it's south of Wheelbrook.
okay, yeah, I don't think I've ever. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you end up going to a bar or an inn bar. I don't remember.
yeah,
Tavern.
it's like a tavern.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so excited for this.
You see a hillbilly getting harassed by some ruffians who are human.
Are
Then
they?
you get in a fight with the ruffians, and they turn into rats in armor.
This happens a lot in stuff like Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 6 as well, where it's like they are the wolf icon on the map, and then a different kind of monster when you actually fight them.
Yeah, they're a woolly mammoth when you fight them.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fucking wild.
So you beat these guys because they ain't shit.
Yeah.
And the hillbilly thanks you and tells
Is
you
he a
to
hillbilly?
help him
You
out.
know, only one man can decide. Okay.
His town is called Hay, as in hay.
Yes.
Like,
So
that's
you're
what you
going
stack.
on the side because I think he's Cockney, or no? You know what? I don't think he's Cockney. I think he's Devon. His accent.
I don't know what he is because it's inconsistent. Is what it is.
Well, how about?
Sometimes he
I was
says
thinking
me.
about
Oi,
this.
hello there.
Sometimes he says my. He always drops his H's.
Yeah.
Unless he's naming his.
That
town.
could be Cockney or like Southern. That doesn't
I
help.
don't
How
know where
about-
in the South people drop their H's.
Matthew,
Doesn't he do H's a lot?
how
Or
about
don't they do
you
H's?
and you read it as if it's a hillbilly, and I will try reading a different passage as if it is a guy from Devon.
All right, I have to see your pictures again.
Okay. Well, my pictures are on the group chat.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where are they? Best Pals gang.
Oi, y'all wanna come on down to have a spot of tea
No. Wait, how
and
do
some barbecue pig feet
All right.
and some toast and jam, eh? And some sweet
All right.
tea.
So
go on down to the pond. I'm gonna wrestle
Here,
me.
you read the first one there. Well, let's both try it.
All right. He's that bad as we'll all be likely be dying of starvation if we don't do something smartish.
Okay, and here's me. He's that bad as we'll all likely be dying of starvation if we don't do something smartish.
Boy, I think I'm gonna go with you're both wrong. This is very clearly like a Canadian accent, and just neither of you want to admit it, that they're mocking John mercilessly. John, say it like you're Canadian.
Okay.
Say it like a newfie.
And that's why I'm here. Oh, no, wait. There's no abouts, so I can really... It's hard to hit it. And that's why I'm here, to find a good, strong warrior what's going to scare off the monster. There you go.
Yeah, they don't say don't you know.
Oh, yeah. Talking
Isn't that
about
a Minnesota thing?
going to fight the
There is.
monsters. So also, this guy keeps calling you handsome and his lover, or loves.
Yeah. It's
And by loves, he's talking to me and three monsters. So me and a slime knight and a apple and a hula lady,
apple.
which he calls his loves.
Well, big fan of that hula lady.
Yeah. And so he's like, he tells you about there's a monster attacking you're sort of talking about the monster. I can't, now I'm losing my Devon. There's a real monster down in Ari, and that's why I'm here, to find us a good, strong warrior. What's gonna scare off the monster?
And
A
he
big,
pays you
strapping
half
lad.
now and half when the job is done.
Like you big, tall stud. I just don't like a deep rooting.
So then you get to go wander around the wilderness for 1,000 years until you find the cave where this monster is hiding.
Was
But-
it really that hard to walk left?
First you have to walk south, then left. But if you don't go to the town first, see, what I did was I went to the town, saved, and then went to the monster cave. But then, like, the game crashed. The game's crashed on me a couple times. It's weird for a DS game. And I forgot to go talk to the townspeople, like the Bailey guy, Bo Bailey or whatever his name was. And so I didn't talk to them before finding the monster.
Oh, the Haytowns people?
Yeah, if you don't talk to them, things get screwy in the game for a little bit.
I definitely talked to them, and they were pretty cool when I met them. There was one who was a little bit like, everyone sucks. But the other ones were like, oh, we trust you'll do it. Thanks so much for showing up. And
if you show up at night, you run into the monster in the grass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it leaps out at you and then escapes, but you can't see what it is.
Oh.
Man, that would be cool. I didn't. There's so many things that happen at night that I haven't done yet, and that was one of them.
There's
you head to the cavern and you try not to fall in pits, but you're going to because you're playing it on iOS and it's a piece of shit. And eventually you make your way to the monster, and it is an all grown up Mohawk cat.
Yay!
And
Saber
or
Percy.
Percival or
Percy.
whatever it's called. And you can't beat him up.
Mm-hmm.
You can only do one thing, and the game doesn't even hint at it. So you go to your nearest FAQ, and it tells you to give.
I figured this out, and I think if you beat him up.
You figured this out without a fact?
Yeah, I can't remember how I figured this out. Because it must give you. There must be something, either if you keep fighting it a few times, where it tells you or gives you a clue.
It just says he's desperately trying to remember something.
Yeah, and I think I just went through my inventory and was like, is there anything he might remember? And
well, I had to get out of the fight and pull it out of my bag anyway, because you can't use anything that's in your bag.
Yeah.
So yeah, you give it Bianca's ribbon, it smells it, then jumps and licks you.
I think this took me a long time. Like, this was back in 2009 when I did this the first time. Yeah. But I managed to do it without looking it up. But then the second time, I was just scrolling through the FAQ trying to see where I had to go to, and it just randomly said, I saw the bit about using the rib, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll do that. Problem solved.
Yay, it was great. You get your cat back, and you head back. Did you guys well, John, you had a whole weird thing. Matthew, did you head back with the cat in your party?
Yes.
And that's awesome because you get there and they immediately hate you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, so we get it. Like, your monster was your buddy, and you were just scamming us. But they pay you anyway, which is the classy thing to do.
Yeah.
What did you experience, John?
So I went back to the town, and I had saved before talking to them last time, and then my game crashed, so I started over, didn't talk to the townspeople, and just headed to the cave and found the monster. So I came back, and Mohawk just disappeared from my party, and then I went through and talked to everybody, and went through the same cutscene again of the guy thinking that I'm going to scam them, and everyone making fun of the gay hillbilly, which I felt really bad for him. So I left and went back in and talked to them again, and they didn't recognize that I found the cat or anything. I left again and then went outside. I was like, oh, do I have to go do this whole cave again? But no, the cat just had been shuffled into my wagon randomly. So I took the cat out of the wagon, went back in, and everyone hated me. I think that's the only way to complete this quest is you have to bring the cat into town to prove that you got him. But it's weird that they took him out of my party until I did the whole starting the quest thing.
All right, we're about to hit an hour and a half, so let's talk about this last chunker and be done with this dumb game forever.
Well, no.
Yeah, right. Next, you head to Zooming Gale.
Oh, this fucking dumb shit. This is the longest thing we've ever done. Everything is 10 parts.
The only reason you go to Zooming Gale is because there's literally nothing else to do. You're just exploring.
Yeah.
And that's like how most of this felt, is like there's nothing really guiding you from one thing to the next. There was someone, I think, who said, go to Zooming Gale and help us out with this other thing. And then there was the guy from Hay who told you about the monster. So you go to Zooming Gale and you learn about Professor Toil and Trouble. Fuck you.
I was going to say, at this point in the game, if you're Matthew, you are just following the Prima Guide.
Yeah. And John is probably just chuckling sensibly to himself.
I do like to read Sensible Chuckle magazine.
So Professor Toil and Trouble is trying to revive the old magics. He's looking for one called Zoom, and he asks you to find the Zoom Bloom, which can only be found at night in the West. And
the Zoom Bloom from the room?
Huh?
The Zoom Bloom from the room?
Yeah, no, he wants you to bring the Zoom Bloom to the room.
Oh, Zoom Bloom into the room.
So
now is that part of the Toon Boom?
Zoom. So so the dude this brings us to the day-night thing. This game has a day-night sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know?
And it's not based off of time spent. It's based off of steps.
Or
however many steps you take, it changes whether it's day
I have
or
a
night.
lamp I found that also changes it to night instantly. The night
lamp.
The night light.
Oh shit, that does something?
It changes it to night. It's like Zelda, changes it to night instantly.
Wow.
I didn't know about that either.
It's
That's
useful
a good thing to know.
because then in Zooming Gale there is as is a thing in every RPG, a burlesque show.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
so
I didn't see that.
you can watch the ladies dancing. There's lots of guys around just watching them, and there's a guy up on the balcony above saying, "Yeah, this is the best place for the best view." Because you can see their boobs.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, wasn't there a guy
love that one pixel cleavage.
Was it in Final Fantasy VI or was it in Phantasy Star 4 where the guy was like crouching down so he could see up their panties?
Oh,
Probably
boy.
both.
So anyway, Stan and I were talking about pixel boners. Excuse us, John.
Oh, sorry.
Stan them pixel boobies. Some pixel thigh.
I think you can almost make out a knee.
Oh, yeah. That one slightly darker pixel showing cleavage.
Oh, John, you ruined it.
Oh.
So you
Like
have
big
to go
sandbags.
wander. Oh God! You wander off to the west side of the continent at night, and in a certain area that I don't particularly remember, but I'm sure you guys do. What was it? A field
It
or?
was just a field in the like a foresty type area.
Yeah, it's on the leftiest part of the world map.
Yeah, there's a glowing thing that you have to stand on top of on a very specific way. And God, I couldn't do it the first time when it was night.
No.
So I had to keep walking around until it was fucking nighttime again.
I guess I feel good that I am doing it in on DS, because although I did get killed and had to spend 10 minutes resurrecting my entire party, I was very upset about that.
I wonder if this game works with any iOS controllers that
Yeah,
you
I
can
bet
just
it
plug
does.
into your phone.
I do have one of those, but I'm not going to restart the game now.
Interesting. Why would you have to restart the game to use a controller?
No,
You would
because
have
I'm
to
playing on
focus-
DS.
Oh,
and
to
I
play it on
don't
DS.
Yeah.
Duh. Anyway, you find the Zoom Bloom and you go back to the professor.
And you
he
get the
makes
best
you
thing in
cast
the world.
spell?
Yeah,
And
well,
then
he
you get
sticks
the
it
best thing in
inside
the
the
world.
cauldron, and you get this really cool cauldron thing. You see shit flying out of it, like in the Ghostbusters when they shut down the containment unit.
Oh my god. No, that's later.
And the you finally get this new spell called Zoom, which is just fast travel.
Yay.
During your travels, because there's no other way you would know where the fuck to go, but somewhere around in the travels, someone mentioned that Harry has gotten married.
Yeah, Lodestar. There's some people. Actually, no, in this town, up in the like the big inn, people talk about how Harry got married.
Yeah, and it's just like, wow, that was fast.
How long did it take you guys to find the professor? Because that took me a while.
You had to walk around the town on the left-hand side. I hated that place. Why?
Once I did it, it like just you look at the map and just trying to figure out how you get in there took me so long.
And you know this was made strictly for the DS thing, because that wouldn't have been a thing on Super Nintendo.
How would that have? Yeah, I really want to play the Super Nintendo version. I probably should have got like an English ROM hack, but oh well, next time.
Oh, well. But anyway, you go and you use Zoom wherever you want, but eventually you're going to land at Coburn Castle Coburn. Hopefully it's the first place you want to go. It wasn't mine, and I ended up wasting a lot of time. Fortunately, I'm over leveled now.
Yay!
You find out that he and Maria got married, and that he wanted you at the wedding but couldn't find you, and you were on a fucking boat. But he saved you a souvenir, and then he reverts back to his asshole stage, and he tells you to check a chest in his room. So you go back to his room. You open the chest. There's nothing in it except a stupid message.
Oh, but it's a nice,
sweet.
it's a sweet message.
Yeah.
It's a sweet message. It's
Hair
the
Bear
best
loves you.
message. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now the best thing that's ever happened in a game that we've played happens. Harry is going to just go ahead and give you his dick. Harry tries to invite you into his marital bed. He tries to get you in on the relationship.
This, after telling
He gives you his D.
he says, truth be told, Maria probably preferred you to me all along.
Oh.
And I was like, of course she did. I'm the hero. And then it says, Harry proffers a beautifully crafted marital organ. I was like, no, Harry, no. And then it says, Stan receives the marital organ.
Nice.
The dragon, just so that we're clear, the dragon marital organ.
Yeah, the bad dragon.
The bad dragon marital organ.
Yeah.
Like the type that John's mystical daddy sells.
In our gay romantic comedy, Meet Cute.
Oh, God. So, yeah, you receive a marital organ. At this point, we're done with our chunker, and I have no clue
Are we
what
done
we're
with
supposed to do next.
His chunker? Well, we're done.
What the fuck is this supposed to be?
The marital organ?
Well, he describes it as an ornately crafted music box.
Oh.
That they got it as a wedding present. That's why. I mean, the joke is that it's supposed to be a dick. That is the pun they are going for. Like, let's not. They know what they're saying here.
Yeah, let's not. This is a kid's game.
You know, for kids.
Come on, kids. Dick. So that's it for. That is it for our main segment, the confessional. Before we dive into Squarely Against, let's talk about John's favorite aspect of these dumb games. It's time for John's Bullshit Minigame Corner.
John's bullshit minigame
Corner.
We can. So, this time, there are mini games. There are so many mini games for us to play. We can go to a casino and play slots.
Yeah, it's great.
I didn't
Slots
play any of the slot machines.
are terrible, just like in
I
real life.
tried them out like I always do, and they're always terrible. And I tried
Yeah.
out playing cards, and it was terrible.
Oh, is there
I mean-
cards as well?
Maybe not at this one. Maybe at the next one.
Oh, okay.
There's more casinos?
Yeah, there's more casinos.
I just found the
and more TNT
one.
boards.
And the TNT, so there's slot machine, which is just you have to give tokens, and the tokens are kind of expensive, and the rewards aren't very good, so I don't recommend it. But you need tokens to get some like special equipment, which I didn't get. And also there's the TNT board, which is like a little Mario Party right in your Dragon Quest. Now,
Yep.
All right.
have you
there's
ever
a
heard?
thing. Oh, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of a game called Fortune Street?
No.
No.
It is a game released by Enix with Dragon Quest characters that is Mario Party.
Oh, wow.
And I think it might have been kind of inspired by this. But
Is it older than?
this came out around Fortune Street. I think came out in U.S. in 2010, but I think it's been going around for a while. But the
Mario
Wii
Party
version
was
got a
before
port.
2010. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just thought that. Anyway, but this is a board game, and you roll dice and get extra dice, and there's some there's one which takes away your stats permanently.
What?
There is a square that reduces one of your stats, or it'll either gain or reduce your stats by a certain number. So I lost
permanently, or
yeah,
just for
permanently.
while you're on that TNT board?
permanently.
That is messed up.
Yep. I'm not sure this is a good mini game. I won it the first time. I got my resilience reduced by 1, but I got to the end and got a edged boomerang, which I already bought. So.
And that leads me to the other thing that you get, which is some sort of shiny metal. And I've been finding these things all over the place. What are they for?
I don't know.
Do you know, Matt? You're in the future.
What was the question? I'm reading about Fortune Street. The first one came out in 1991.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
That's way before Mario Party.
But
Anyway.
What are the medals for that you pick up all over the place?
Oh, later on you can spend them. Get those. You want them.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So yeah, that's one. That's the only worthwhile thing for playing that TNT board. Otherwise,
I think you get some
painful.
armor and stuff.
yeah, there's like different.
well, the first one, all you get is the edged boomerang.
yeah.
Oh, the boomerang. Yeah, that's good. Boomerang's
I already
good.
But I
bought
already
it.
had it.
I'd already had
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except I don't buy new items for my monsters. I give them my cast-offs. They're like my little brothers and sisters. So they get like all the items I don't need anymore. I give them to my monsters.
Their monster stuff is generally so cheap that I don't mind buying it for them.
Some of them
Sometimes they
fully use the same weapons you do, like broadswords and boomerangs and whips.
Yeah.
My TNT board experience was not bad. It's as addictive as a stupid Mario Party. Like, I had to get to the end. It took several tries, but I did it, and I was proud of myself, so...
Dude, it took me 5 tries. I think 5 or 6. It was some stupid amount, and I hated it.
What's the Tombuka or whatever? I don't think I've run across that one.
That's the other mini game.
Bullshittiest bullshit mini game ever.
I think I played it.
You get a ticket. I found a couple of tickets. I found one on a bookshelf and one Harry gives you. And the tombola is a bingo roller, basically. Like one of those rollers with balls in it.
I hate shit like this.
And you just get an item.
Or if you get another roll, like if you get a white ball, you get to roll again.
Yeah.
It's not even a game.
Nope. But it is still, I would call it a bullshit mini game. But I like the bullshit. TNT one. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It's all right.
Better than the other
at least
ones.
They put a lot of effort into this casino. There sure is a lot of shit to do. I mean, I imagine people enjoy it.
Well, the tombola one's in the burlesque house with the dancers.
Yeah.
Well, is that it for mini games, John?
That is. So before we go to Squarely Against, I would like to say,
next time, we play until you get married. And by you, I mean your character in the game, and not you personally, because we don't have that kind of time.
Yes.
All right. I will, first of all, let's do our Squarely Against segment. So I'll go first if that's okay. I am roundly for the TNT board. It was fun.
Yay!
What about you, John?
I am squarely against having to patiently sit through music. Bad game. Bad. No. What about you, Stan?
I am roundly for going back to the up to 10 towers, because not only do you find the lovely teen couple, you also go and visit the graves of the counts, and the inscription for the count is "Here lies Count up to 10, whose number is now sadly up."
Oh, God.
The other is the inscription, the one for the lady count. "Here lies Miss Count, now sadly out for the count."
Oh, God.
All
right.
Boy, let's drag ourselves out of that one.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into the outro, guys, we did get a letter this week, so I'll go ahead and read it. This is another letter. Another letter. Oh, boy.
Lettle.
So we got a letter, and John's going to go ahead and read it.
Crystal asks, I just got started on the Patreon cast and listening to your rankings episode. Just a quick question for Vanessa regarding your issue with the camera in Kingdom Hearts. In no way am I questioning your Elite or Ponzor's abilities, but did you just try using the top buttons? I can't recall if it's R1, L1 or R2, L2 to rotate the camera whilst just toggling the analog button forward. Does that make sense?
No.
Sorry to mansplain, but that's been exhaustively covered on the show. I am female, so absolved from any mansplaination accusation. Also, I agree the Wonderland level is hideous. The plot of Kingdom Hearts is pretty vapid BS at the end of the day, but I found it fun to play. I think it's the way they designed squishy battle effects. Camera issues were also improved upon in Kingdom Hearts 2, I think. Just remember Vanessa's going away, so feel free to hold off till she gets back or whatever you want. We want to read it right now, Crystal. Hope you are well. P.S. I got addicted to making gummy ships. You'll have to... All my ships didn't work. I tried to make ships and they would never work. Why?
But you're bad at video games.
Well, I mean, that is true.
Who's talking there? Was that you, John, or the letter?
That was me. I could never make a gummy ship work.
I eventually got to making gummy ships that were just indestructible. It was awesome.
Crystal, we're sure that Vanessa will respond to you either through us or when she returns. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, before we go, guys, we do need to talk about the Patreon.
Patreon.
This episode's coming out, mid-December?
Yep.
So the bonus episode for patrons this month is going to be an instant classic, and that's going to be God of War. That's exciting stuff.
God of War.
Stan, have you finished God of War yet?
I have finished the main story of God of War.
Oh, John. John, you're the only one that hasn't finished it yet.
I'll try my best. No promises.
You're so close, John. You could do it.
Am I? I just finished Alfgard and just got like the light bow that makes the light.
You've got
Alfheim.
got so far to go, John. Not even close to the end. There's a lot of things we could say about our Patreon. We could talk about how subscribing gets you exclusive bonus content. We could talk about how at the $5 level you are given a vote in the games that we're going to play. It's a little more complicated than that, to be honest. It's not straight up and down, but so definitely check that out at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. And one of the benefits is that we are going to read a list of all of our patrons.
Oh boy.
And John, do you want to do that? Do you want me to do it?
You can do it. You were too sick last time. Boy. Just rip through this, buddy.
All right.
Get those boogers out of your schnoz.
Hey, baby.
It's in alphabetical order for some reason.
I can't figure out how to export it
My
the old
first
way.
name.
A big shout out and a thank you to Aaron Bachman, Andrew Wayant, Artie Pavlov, Ashley T, Benjamin Avner, Bobby Midkiff, Brady A. Berman, Bree Girth, Brian Pitt, Brian Stone, Brody Toy, Cameron Show or Showy.
I don't know. I always say show.
Somebody's told us
Showy.
before, and we just don't listen good. Cowman Mosser, Chris Penyak, Cyril the Wolf, David Green, David Schutz, Devin Sloan, Eric Garby, Florian Jonas Kramer, G. Bailey, George Armbruster, Go Cry Wolf. We have a lot of wolves on our Patreon. Gregory, Huxley Iguana, I Did It for the Gym, Jake Dickerson, James Hostetler, James Plett, Jonathan Ellsworth, Jonathan Lee, Joseph A. Rogers, Josh Anderson, Julian Zanella, Julian Titus, Justin Benoit, Justin Ham, Vanessa's Mom, Crystal Thurman, Matt Jorgensen, Mecca Khan, Megan Sullivan, Miguel Torres, Mothmas, Mandalorian. What the fuck?
All right, dude, it's
Mothmas,
Mandalorian
Marmalade makes Maz money. Nathan Poirot, Nick, Owen Marble, Patrick Coover, Lord of all biscuits, Patrick W. Bears, PJ Inns, Race Jenkins, Randy Pierce, Rusty Kamada, Robert M. Pollum, Robert T., Ross Hartley, Ryan Miller, Sam Harrison, Samu Mitchell, Sean Walsh, Stu Skeel, the God King of Switzerland, Tom, Tracy Tanoff, Tyler Petty, Vanessa's Mom, Vanessa's Holiday Cheese Plate Fund. Do we have multiple Vanessa's moms still?
We do have
Jesus.
two Vanessa's moms.
Lord Childress, Wonder Swan, and Xavier Krieger. Is it Xavier or Xavier?
I would say Xavier. Mr. Krieger.
I've always said Xavier.
Well, we'll have to ask Mr. Krieger.
Anyway, if you want to get added to that list, please, again, find us at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. Or send us an email. You know our email address. It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
Well, if you don't want to email us, please come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, and tweet at us at Square Roots Pod. Thanks to Subversive Asset and Mohawk Gaymer for their cover of Toward the Horizon, the Dragon Quest V world map theme. Check out Mohawk Gaymer and Subversive Asset on YouTube. Links for both in the show notes.
Yay.
Rate, review, and subscribe and listen. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you screenshot a review or post it on the Facebook group or Twitter, I'll tell you how you leveled up. Stan's They See Me Rolling Corner, Stan.
Listen to our latest episode, which is all about Annie the robot. What is Annie the robot? It's a killing machine that wears a skirt.
And has a happy face.
Ivan. Yes, and it has a happy face. So listen for their tragic origin story.
Ooh.
Yeah, actually, it's not a tragic origin story, but whatever.
This isn't Rogue Galaxy. Not everyone has to have a tragic origin story.
That is They See Me Rollin'. Remember, all you got to do is, John, don't forget to drop a link to They See Me Rollin' in the show notes so that our listeners can just click right over once they're done with this episode.
Yeah.
And
give it a
speaking
little
of being
clickaboo.
done with this episode for the Square Roots Podcast, I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I am John Brandon.
And I'm Stank.
And we're all Vanessa. Bye.